women do not date out of their race enough, and God, please release my sisters from the shackle of only dating black men. I feel like it's time for us to explore our options. It's way more of life to see, way more experiences to have.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as per the title guys, you can see in today's video, once again, we're going to be talking about one of the least producing males of society. And naturally, we know that it is always going to involve one of the women that they deem to be so much better. These males are consistently coming out here saying that these non-black women, they're so much better. We already know the usual rhetoric that they continue to come out here and spew, talking about these women are so feminine, they're so fit, they're so friendly. And this is why I continue to pose the question, if these women are everything that us as black women we're not, why do you guys continue to dog these women out? Why do you guys continue to give them the same result? Or in many cases, you guys will show up to them even worse than you guys tend to do for, unfortunately, the black women that are still willing to give y'all access to them. But nonetheless, just in case you guys aren't necessarily familiar with this story, you guys know this lady that you're viewing here on your screen. I have told you guys she is slowly but be surely becoming one of my favorite TikToker. So basically, she were talking about this former NFL star, Eric Moulds, and I think his name Moulds fits him perfectly, and you guys eventually are going to find out what I'm saying that. But as you guys can see here, it says former NFL star intentionally gave incurable STD to multiple women, specifically targeting Buffalo Bills fans. And obviously, these women came out here and they filed a lawsuit against him. And this is precisely, black woman, why I continue to come out here and say that these male rejection, these male despising you all so much, I feel like that is truly like a blessing in disguise, because the reason why these male continuously are out here consistently talking down on black women for the most part, when at the end of the day, most of these male, whenever they have $5 more than what they're accustomed to, we know that they don't even want to say hello to black woman. This is precisely, black woman, what I'm always going to caution y'all. This is why I'm always going to say, black woman, in order for you to get the best deal that this world has to offer you, you are indeed gonna have to go out here and expand your option, because at the end of the day, you guys know, black male, they're not only themselves continuously as a collective coming out here talking so negatively about you, but they also want other people to join forces with them. Regardless of this male literally being 51 years old, we already know at this point he has hit the wall many times over. This male here, I mean, look at him. This male look like a literally ball of grease just wrapped together. And this male, doesn't matter the age that they get, this male is literally over half of a century years old. Yet this male is still out here wearing earrings. Like, why do these males feel like this is appealing? And this is precisely why I continue to say, personally, I really don't find anything about these males to be appealing. They're not nice people. They have the most disgusting, nasty attitude that had ever existed. Even though we already know that they're continuously coming out here trying to project onto you as a black woman, calling you angry black woman. And at the end of the day, like I said, regardless of these male black women coming out here pedestalizing only momentarily these non-black women, as you guys can see, at the end of the day, these women are getting the same blackmail. Nonetheless, guys, I can continue to rant about these male and their despicable behavior, but I'm going to allow you guys to listen to what this TikToker had to say about this whole case, and then we will come back with more.
This is why black women have super high rates of STIs. Pay attention to this story. 51-year-old Eric Moulds, who used to play for the Buffalo Bills in the NFL, has recently been sued by a woman who claims that he purposely infected her with herpes. The woman claims that Moulds began contacting her on Instagram in 2008. The two began messaging back and forth and eventually exchanged numbers and began to continue their conversation through text. The woman claims that these calls and texts eventually turned into a long-term relationship. In 2023, so after about 5 years of talking, Moulds told the victim that he could train her. He could be her personal trainer. She would just have to come see him in North Carolina. He offered to fly her out so that he could train her, but when he flew her out, he, of course, did not train her. They just engaged in sex for the entire visit. After this, Eric flew the victim out a couple more times to his home in North Carolina so they could have sex. The victim states that she and Eric engaged in unprotected sex, even though herpes can still be transmitted when protection is used. After experiencing symptoms and being tested, the victim learned that she had contracted herpes simplex 2 from Eric Moulds. The victim knew that it had to be Eric because she believed that they were in a monogamous relationship for years and had been exclusive to only him. So after realizing that she was not in fact the only woman that Eric had been with, the victim, let's call her Megan, decided to do some digging. And what she found, child, Megan discovered that Eric had a pregnant fiance at home who he had been with for more than 8 years. When Megan reached out to the pregnant fiance to let her know that her man had been cheating, the pregnant fiance was basically like, yeah, you might want to go get tested. He has infected me and several other women with infections. In the process of doing more research and hiring a lawyer, Megan found out that Eric was previously sued by several women years ago for also giving them herpes and settled out of court with those women. In doing more digging, Megan's lawyer basically found out that Eric Moulds targeted single mothers who were fans of his former football team. He intentionally sought out single mothers and used his status as a former football player to victimize them. Ladies, please be careful. Please be very careful with who you lay with, because a lot of these men will intentionally infect you with something to damage you or to humble you. Please know that these men who are DMing you on Instagram will never be serious about you. Please know that a 5-year relationship through text messages is not a real relationship, and that man is just playing with you. And please know that most of the men who are on the prowl looking for single women are not single themselves.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, I think it is so disgusting, so despicable. This male is literally more than a half a century years old, yet he's still out here having girlfriend, obviously cheating on her. This male is not really married. This is why I continue to say these males, they're not husband material, they're not father material. They're consistently coming out here saying how they literally only like the kids to the extent that they like the woman that they impregnated. And like I have been telling you guys for the longest of time, if you as a person, you don't really like yourself, how are you guys gonna expect these males to like anybody else? But nonetheless, I digress. I want to talk a little bit more about these males and their disgusting, despicable behavior. This male, regardless of him being in a relationship with, we already know this is the Becky that he's in a relationship with, right? Because this is why I'm going to continue to say, Black woman, these male rejecting you, these male continuously coming out here and saying that these non-Black women are their preference. I have told you guys over and over, this is indeed a blessing in disguise. This man was out here sorting woman out. Why being in a full-blown relationship for 8 years? Imagine being a girlfriend for 8 years only for this dust mite to have intentionally given you an incurable STIs. I mean, it is so unfortunate that these women will willingly stay with these male. This is disgusting. This pig intentionally sorted out single woman to impregnate them by simultaneously giving them this incurable disease. Why isn't this a federal crime to begin with? Because for this male to know for a fact that he has this type of incurable disease, for him to continuously go out here sorting out these single women, I think it is so despicable. In my opinion, this should be a federal crime. This should have at least, in my opinion, I think 15 to 20 years minimum, so that these type of despicable being don't come out here and they feel like they can just go around because they couldn't keep their community peeing their pants. They feel like now because they have this incurable STI, they're just gonna go out here starting this woman out. And like I said, unfortunately, yes, we already know oftentimes we will see a lot of black women, even though this male has been abundantly clear about them having a huge disdain for black women as a collective. But unfortunately, we know that there's still so much more black women that are doing whatever they can in order for them to get the approval of the least producing males of society, which is something personally I will never understand. But hey, I digress. And naturally, after a lot of black women started commenting, telling this creator, like, no black woman was harmed in the process of this video, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned previously, this male rejection is indeed a protection to you as a black woman. So she also came back and she responded to black women saying, we don't really care, because at the end of the day, these male being colorist, it oftentimes protect us. So listen to what she had to say the second time around, and then we will come back with more.
One thing that I need more black women to understand is that just because the demographics don't actually really like you doesn't mean that they won't still use you for sex. There are black men who are in relationships with non-black women who will seek out black women to have affairs with. My ex's best friend is a rapper in the Bronx, and he's been in a relationship with a Becky from Europe for about 5 years now. But guess what? He has the Black app on his phone so he can seek out cheap or free sex with black women. More black women need to realize that just because the demographics don't actually like you doesn't mean that they're against using you for sexual gratification, your paycheck, housing, your car, etc. Many of the demographics go through life using black women as cheap sex objects exclusively. And then when they get to where they feel like they should be in life, what did Kanye say? And when he get on, he leave your ass for... More black women need to understand that just because they don't really like you and will never wife you up doesn't mean that they won't use you up.
Ladies, I truly feel like y'all should cut all access that black men have to y'all. Like she said, black men, even though they will claim not to like you as a black woman, but unfortunately, there's still a lot of black women out there that are waiting to find their unicorn king that's gonna love them, that's gonna protect them, that's gonna provide for them, and not disrespect them. The only thing I have to say to these black women is that may God bless your soul. Oh, and please don't hold your breath while you're waiting for this unicorn black male. But guys, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about another male, because of his hatred, because of the disdain that he had for black women. Once again, we see that the preference, they're going to continue to take the L's when it comes to these male, because can you guys imagine not only being a girlfriend of 8 years, additionally, this male intentionally coming out here also giving you an STI, because you really know that you already has been marked with the scarlet letter, because you being a quote unquote preference in these male eyes, already know that once these women allow the least producing males of society to have any type of access to them, and unfortunately when they then go and also allow themselves to get impregnated by these male, we already know these women's thought in society, it drops drastically, right? So unfortunately, I guess this woman, she decided, well, this male has already given me this incurable STI. I'm just going to stick around. I'm going to tug it out, because at the end of the day, I can't really go and get any of the males of my community, which are my first preference. But unfortunately now I am stuck with this dust bucket, and I guess she preferred to just stick around, tug it out, do what she have to do, because at the end of the day, like I said, even if she wanted to go and roll in the mud with this dust, now she's gonna have a biracial kid that can't really deny that she was indeed involved with one of the lowest hanging fruits of society. But nonetheless, guys, I love this for these non-black women. Please continue to take the trash out. Black woman, none of us, just like this lady said, none of us was harmed in the making of this video. And black woman, I love that for us. Nonetheless, guys, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. What do you guys think about Eric Moulds coming out here intentionally impregnating his preference, as well as giving them this incurable STIs? Once again, black woman, these male rejection, it is always going to be your protection. What are your thoughts and opinion, or please get in the comment section down below, and I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.
Black women, it's time to hold ourselves accountable, because we are reaping what we sowed. We have lied and gassed black men up for centuries, letting them think that they are kings with no kingdoms, letting them think that they are the emperor when they are naked. And now we are dealing with the consequences of those actions. Instead of being honest with black men and requiring them to do better for not only themselves, but the community that they helped create, we have allowed them to tear it apart and then put it back together quietly behind their backs, and then still let them get the credit for it.